Things I saw him do to world-class competitors. He could do it at any given moment in any aspect, whether it was striking, grappling, wrestling. He had world-class guys from each genre. And it was like he was just playing with his food. And then when the coach was like, dude, let's get going, he's like, okay. And then would just dog walk these dudes. People that if you're in the game, you know, and you're like, what the f? I was like, holy, I knew his wrestling was good, but dude.
The anticipation and excitement is rising as Khamzat Chimaev is all set to take on Dricus Du Plessis for the middleweight title at UFC 319. Khamzat is looking very sharp in the training session, but DDP isn't afraid to defend his title against a killer like Khamzat. Dricus Du Plessis admits that Khamzat Chimaev is a serious threat, but didn't see him as untouchable. He felt the top 5 is filled with killers and viewed Chimaev as just another elite name in the mix. While he gave credit for the win over Whitaker, he saw this matchup as the most exciting challenge on his path.
Khamzat is an incredible fighter, but you're fighting in the top 5 of the UFC. Everybody's incredible fighters. He has this one thing that works for him and it's been good, but Khamzat is an absolute animal, absolutely. But I mean, you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, which you could have scored either way. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight and you go, yeah, he did beat Robert Whitaker. Obviously his teeth broke back, it's unfortunate. He is really good, so deserving of a title shot 100% after that performance. If you look at the Strickland's last performance versus Paulo Costa, and then you look at Khamzat's last performance versus Robert Whitaker, that's a no-brainer that Khamzat gets the title fight. And I had my own selfish reasons. I was more excited to fight a Khamzat.
On the other hand, Khamzat Chimaev has officially entered his last camp for the mega fight at UFC 319, where he will put all his efforts to win his maiden UFC belt.
Feeling great. We're in LA. We're in training camp now, last camp for the fight. So coming for Chicago, kill everybody. See you guys there.
This is one of the highly anticipated fights of this year, and that's why the MMA pros are also excited to witness this clash. Former UFC champion Kamaru Usman emphasized how unpredictable the fight game can be, pointing out that fans often overlook what it takes to win at the highest level. For him, Chimaev versus Du Plessis isn't about hype or opinions. It's about two proven fighters stepping into the cage with everything on the line.
Yeah, and just lastly, who do you see taking the belt at 185?
At 185? Listen, I told you guys, don't sleep on Khamzat. When he was fighting Robert Whitaker, everyone said, oh yeah, Whitaker is going to get him. Hey, don't sleep on him. Khamzat's extremely talented, extremely strong. He can shock anyone. But Dricus Du Plessis, you can't sleep on him as well. He's the champion for a reason, taking out 3 champions back to back to back. So, hey, respect to all those guys. I respect every one of these fighters. I know people at home were spectators and were fans, and they like to just kind of talk. Oh, he had a bad performance, he had a boring one. But hey, you have to respect each and every one of these guys that's willing to get in here, in little bitty gloves and damn near underwear and bare their soul in here. So you have to respect that.
Kamaru Usman viewed the matchup as a rare meeting of two fighters in their prime, each willing to go through fire to win. He expected a high-paced war with no backing down, the kind of fight that could leave a lasting mark on the division.
Khamzat Chimaev, an incredible fighter, very, very, very tough fighter. Has been hit with a few tests, obviously, myself, obviously Burns. So, and he's passed. So, I'm excited to see how that fight goes with himself and Dricus Du Plessis. I think that's a phenomenal fight. Both guys tough, extremely tough. So that's one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most this year.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan, having trained closely with Khamzat Chimaev, viewed his rise as a moment of momentum. He spoke about the energy in Khamzat's camp and the kind of focus that only comes when a title is within reach. For Arman, it wasn't just about training, it was about backing someone who's ready to seize the spotlight.
Hello everybody, I'm Arman Tsarukyan. We have a training camp with Khamzat Chimaev. He's getting ready for his title fight. He looks sharp, so excited for him and to see him UFC champion. So far his camp going well, he's healthy, he has a lot of energy, and I'm just here to help him whatever they need. If they need the wrestling, I'll wrestle. If they need the striking, I'll strike. So I'm here to help, and I want him to be a UFC champion.
Arman Tsarukyan further reflected on the intensity of training alongside Khamzat Chimaev, saying the pace forces everyone to level up. For him, matching that kind of energy in the gym is proof that he's ready to face the best grapplers anywhere.
How is it training with Khamzat? I mean, obviously there's so many stories about what that guy's capable of in the gym going back for about 10 years. What is it like for you to get in there and roll with him?
I mean, Khamzat, he's a tough guy, and he doesn't care if you're lighter than him, more than 25 pounds. He just go hard with everybody, and it's good for me. You know, I get a lot of like experience, and I feel like if I can wrestle with him, I can wrestle with anybody, you know.
I would think so, man. And he's probably weighing what when he comes in? You said 25 pounds. Is that about how much he weighs more than you when you guys go?
He's like 205, something like that.
The current lightweight champion Ilia Topuria also spoke highly of Khamzat Chimaev's mindset, praising his refusal to play it safe in the cage. He admired Khamzat's aggressive approach and willingness to chase a finish every time, saying that kind of hunger sets him apart.
Someone else who calls the shots and gets them done. When you think of where mixed martial...
That's why he's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots, he finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast.
Ilia Topuria viewed the matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis as a high-stakes battle between two fighters he respects. With personal ties to both, he stepped back from picking a side and simply looked forward to a thrilling fight, hoping it would deliver as one of the year's biggest showdowns.
Ilia Topuria on Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis fight. Ilia Topuria gave his opinion on the potential title fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis. Topuria wished Chimaev and Du Plessis good luck as he is friends with both of them.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots, he finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for the title as soon as possible. We're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus Du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Khamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's gonna be a very exciting fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck to both of them.
UFC legend Chael Sonnen also viewed the fight as a reality check for the hype around Khamzat Chimaev. He believed Khamzat's best shot would come through controlling the ground game early, but if that failed, the fight could turn into a test of who's evolved more as a complete fighter.
How does Chimaev beat Dricus? Is a different verbiage for saying I don't think Chimaev can beat Dricus, and I'm only sharing with you. That's new. You guys have always believed that Chimaev could beat Dricus. You've always believed that Chimaev could beat everybody. You believed as recently as Chimaev's last fight that nobody could touch him. And you're a very fickle group. And can he beat him? That's between those two. How does he beat him? He starts with plan A, which is to take him down and maul him. And if that doesn't work, which in the past it hasn't, he attempts to bludgeon him on his feet more than he gets bludgeoned. That's the answer to the question. That's how Chimaev would beat Dricus.
On the other hand, Michael Bisping pushed back on the idea that Dricus Du Plessis was ever flying under the radar. He felt Dricus had always shown the kind of finishing ability and grit that makes a fighter stand out. At the same time, he acknowledged Khamzat Chimaev's dominance, calling his rise one of the most forceful in recent memory.
I'm a big fan of Du Plessis. It's crazy because when we did the UFC 317 weighing show, we had to pick most underrated fighters. And some of the other panel, I think a couple of them had Dricus Du Plessis as underrated, and I was like, I don't know if he's underrated, man. I think he's the real deal. He's a big, strong guy. He's knocking people out. He's wrestling them. He's submitting them. But if you look at Khamzat, right, we know he just Goes through everyone like a hot knife through butter.
Eric Anders also saw Dricus Du Plessis as a momentum-driven fighter who's thriving off big wins and staying active. He viewed Khamzat Chimaev's time away from the cage as a possible factor, especially against someone as unorthodox and confident as Dricus. In his eyes, staying unpredictable might be the key to breaking Khamzat's rhythm.
Dricus seems to be the puzzle that can't nobody solve yet, you know? Chimaev always has these long layoffs, and I can't remember the last person he fought, you know?
Whitaker, he finished Whitaker in the first round, remember that?
Oh, that's right, he did, you know, but, you know, Dricus has, you know, clearly been more active, and, you know, did him and Whitaker fight?
Yeah, and Dricus also finished Whitaker, but it was a second round finish, it was a TKO.
Yeah, and then Adesanya, so I think, you know, obviously the resume and work goes to Du Plessis, so I think that he'll be able to get out there, be awkward, and weather that storm, and, you know, find a way to win. 5 rounds is a long time for Chimaev.
Furthermore, Curtis Blaydes saw Khamzat Chimaev's versatility as the biggest factor in this matchup. He focused on how seamlessly Khamzat blends his striking with wrestling, saying that kind of balance is rare and hard to prepare for. In his eyes, that unpredictability gives Khamzat the upper hand.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Khamzat. I think he's showed in that Burns fight. He ain't just a wrestler. He can stand in the fire and delivers some heavy hands. And I think if you blend that with the wrestling, just like Oliveira, he can do a little bit of both. I think that opens up either the wrestling or the striking. I think he's able to beat Dricus.
Former champion Robert Whitaker saw the Chimaev versus Du Plessis fight as a pressure cooker matchup where mental toughness would outweigh hype. He believed it wouldn't just be about skill, but about who could stay composed in the chaos and rise when the momentum shifted. For him, this was the kind of fight that separates contenders from champions.
Khamzat and Dricus fighting for the belt in just over a month's time. What are your initial thoughts on that matchup?
Honestly, I'd have to say Dricus would be a favorite. I think I'm leaning towards Dricus. The whole thing can be summed up. Chimaev will take him down. It's will he finish him before he gets back up? That's the $1 million question. Because if he doesn't finish him on the ground, yeah, wait and see.
Robert Whitaker viewed the opening round as make or break for Khamzat Chimaev. He believed an early takedown was likely, but if Dricus Du Plessis survived that initial burst, the momentum would start slipping away from Khamzat quickly.
A title fight that is coming up as well. 2 guys that you've been in there with. How do you see that one playing out between Dricus and Khamzat?
Yeah, I think Khamzat will definitely take Dricus down. I just think if he doesn't finish him there, I don't think he wins the fight.
On the other hand, Gilbert Burns highlighted Dricus Du Plessis as one of the few fighters who could flip the script on Khamzat Chimaev. From his own training experience, he saw Dricus as built for long, grinding fights, and felt that if the momentum swung past the opening round, Dricus had what it takes to take full control and close the show.
I trained with Dricus a lot. Dricus is actually a very, very good fighter. Crazy cardio, very physically strong. He's a very hard fight to predict, you know. I think Chimaev is going to start very strong like he always do. I do believe Dricus can kind of slow him down, don't get submitted, relax a little bit. But I do believe Dricus, if he get past that first round, I think that's the hardest part. What I think he will do, I think he's gonna pass, and then he's gonna be a nightmare for Chimaev. I think Dricus is a monster, hits very hard, doesn't break, good gas tank. I do believe Dricus is gonna beat Chimaev and remain the champion.
On the contrary, Shara Bullet Magomedov didn't hold back in backing Khamzat Chimaev, brushing off Dricus Du Plessis as no real threat. He predicted a one-sided finish and claimed the only thing people would remember afterward is how quickly Chimaev made his statement.
Very soon there's going to be a championship fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev for the middleweight title. How do you think the fight will play out, and who do you think was going to get his hand raised? As I said before, Dricus is in very good, strong hands in this fight, and we will make sure to remember his name with 2 seconds of silence afterwards.
However, Luke Rockhold looked at the matchup through the lens of experience, saying championship-level fights are often won by those who can stay calm when things don't go their way. He felt the real test for both Chimaev and Du Plessis would come when their game plans hit resistance, and the one who adapts under pressure will come out on top.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard third, fourth, and fifth round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Luke Rockhold highlighted how styles alone don't win 5-round fights. Conditioning and grit do. Drawing from his own training experience with Dricus Du Plessis, he felt the real challenge for Khamzat Chimaev would be keeping up the same pace deep into the later rounds, where Dricus tends to thrive.
Do you reckon Khamzat will be able to handle DDP later on in the fight if he can survive?
I don't like those opportunities for him. I've trained with DDP a lot. He's tough. He ain't gonna go away. You gotta dominate him. You gotta finish him. I mean, you gotta dominate him from start to finish. Or you gotta finish him early. I mean, and I just don't see how Khamzat's gonna keep that pressure. That his intensity you can only keep that for so long. That's not 5-round material.
Luke Rockhold further described Dricus Du Plessis as a fighter who breaks the mold. He said Dricus isn't flashy or traditional, but his unpredictable style and self-belief make him a serious problem for anyone in the division.
DDP is tough. He's tough as hell. You know, people don't give him a lot of credit. He's just awkwardly. He's got weird timing and rhythm, and he's good. I mean, he mixes it up. He's very confident. And that's what everything's about. So he's got good grappling, decent wrestling, and some funky striking, but it works.
Paul Felder also viewed Khamzat Chimaev as the kind of opponent who forces fighters out of their comfort zone from the very first exchange. While he respected Dricus Du Plessis' past wins, he felt this would be a different kind of test, one that would demand perfect composure under non-stop pressure.
Do you think this is the toughest test of Dricus Du Plessis' career?
Yeah, I think so. I think just that first round type of crazy onslaught that he brings to the table and the pressure that he brings early in a fight is very, very difficult, where it might not be the highest caliber as far as pedigree and what we've seen from a fighter so far. I mean, you got Whitakers and people like that he's been able to beat and get through. But I absolutely think that this is going to be his biggest test.
Paul Felder believed the opening round would be the most dangerous for Dricus Du Plessis, given Khamzat Chimaev's explosive starts. But he also pointed out that Dricus has a habit of proving people wrong, and despite the early threat, he wouldn't be surprised if Dricus turned things around later in the fight.
For somebody that's going to come out and you know that first 5 minutes is absolute chaos with somebody like Khamzat. He's going to be on him. He's going to try to take him down. He's going to try to take his back, and he throws big punches. And Dricus being a little bit wild and a little bit clumsy in there sometimes, I think this is his biggest test. But, dude, I'm done ever counting Dricus Du Plessis out of a fight. He has proven all of us wrong over and over again in these fights where we think he's going to, okay, this guy's going to kick his ass. So if I had to pick, I'm leaning Du Plessis.
Meanwhile, TJ Dillashaw focused on the mental side of the matchup, saying Khamzat Chimaev's biggest challenge might be dealing with Dricus Du Plessis' constant pressure. He felt that staying composed under fire would be just as important as physical preparation, especially in a fight where momentum can swing quickly.
How are you going to train Khamzat Chimaev to beat DDP?
Cardio. I just don't think he has the gas tank. If he doesn't finish DDP, doing it. Because he's good. He's strong. His grappling's better. He's got good technical striking. I would put a lot more money on Chimaev if he trains the right way for his cardio. If he doesn't train his cardio the right way, I think it's going to be hard for him to put DDP away, and DDP's going to get him in the later rounds and gas him out. DDP ain't going to get tired.
Corey Sandhagen viewed the fight as a clash of styles that could shift depending on how it starts. He felt Khamzat Chimaev needed to take control early, but if Dricus Du Plessis stayed upright and kept the fight going, his size and strength could wear Chimaev down as the rounds added up.
Well, that'll be a good fight.
It's hard to bet against either one of them, honestly, just because they've both been looking really awesome. I think that if Chimaev doesn't finish him early, I think DDP will probably win that one.
What do you think's more likely? Do you think it's an early finish, or do you think DDP will?
No, I don't think so. I think DDP will be a lot bigger and really hard to take down and hold down. And then I know that like grappling in the way that Chimaev does, you don't have like 5 rounds of that in you, or maybe he does, but I don't think that he will. And then I think as the fight goes on, he'll get a little bit tired, and DDP's size and his conditioning is such a factor.
Michael Venom Page acknowledged Khamzat Chimaev as a dominant force right now, but admitted Dricus Du Plessis might be the kind of fighter built to break that momentum. He focused less on knockout power and more on sustained pressure, saying matchups like this often come down to who can keep their engine running when the pace gets uncomfortable.
I don't see anybody beating him.
I like Khamzat too. I think he's been really incredible.
Yeah, definitely. He looked better in the last fight. Obviously, it didn't last long, so we didn't get to see it, but normally he's like Crash Bandicoot the first round, and then his energy dips.
DDP has been interesting though.
I feel like Dricus is very underrated for a belt holder here.
But that's the thing. If anybody was to, it would be Dricus, because that is the muscular endurance. If you look at like some of the fights nowadays, Mirab, Dricus, these guys that have the muscular endurance to be fighting at 7 the whole fight. And you got someone like Mirab that's 7-8 from start to finish, mate, that's difficult to deal with. And Dricus seems exactly the same. He's like 7-8 the whole time. So if you don't kill him and get him out of there in that first round, second round, then you're gonna have a problem for the rest of the fight.
Moreover, Michael Chiesa leaned toward Dricus Du Plessis, pointing to his patience and ability to stick to a game plan under pressure. He saw Khamzat Chimaev as explosive early, but felt Dricus had the kind of endurance and discipline to weather the storm and take over as the fight progressed.
Man, I think that it goes to Dricus. I think Dricus, you know, we've all kind of criticized him for, you know, I just gotta say it as it is. We've all criticized Dricus for having these sloppy fights, but that last Sean Strickland fight, he looked a lot more polished. He fought a completely different game plan. He used all of his weapons very well. And, you know, Chimaev's a sprinter, and nobody's gonna beat Chimaev in a sprint. But if he can't put you away in the sprint, it's going to go to the person that can run a marathon. And Dricus Du Plessis has shown he can fight 25 minutes very, very hard. You know, you give Kamaru Usman 2 more rounds in that Chimaev fight, I think he wins it. So as long as Dricus cannot get put away by the sprint from Khamzat Chimaev and take him into deep water, Dricus gets the job done.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about Khamzat versus DDP's matchup in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about their ongoing beef.